Remember that you can support the podcast via Patreon. The link is below. Otherwise, stay tuned for the podcast starting now. So, in the podcast today, I'm joined by Renaldo Gouws, who's an industrial psychologist, a politician, and South African YouTuber. So, thank you for joining me today, Renaldo.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it. Thank you for hosting me.
I know you've got quite a bit of time on your hands now, like most South Africans.
Well, I am part of essential services, believe it or not.
Well, yeah, I'm sure, or we've just been speaking off air, that you've been getting a lot of calls on that. So I'm sure your phone won't stop ringing anytime soon. Um, but yeah, I just wanted to look at some of the social media side of things today with you. Um, you've got quite a big following. Yeah, I think on YouTube and that, as well as other um, different Twitter and Facebook and that. But YouTube is obviously your main your main platform in that. Um, and what do you attribute the people that big following to? You've got what 65,000 followers in that. Why do you think people keep on following your channel?
It's an interesting question. I mean, I wish I had the answer without coming across as, like arrogant, but I think it's just because they want people that they can firstly relate to. And then they also want to just hear an honest opinion. And that is something that I've been giving over the last 12 years. I mean, that's another thing. I mean, I've been on YouTube now for 12 years, not actively uploading. I would say realistically, the last 5 years of where I actually decided that, okay, I'm going to do one original video a week and then I'll live stream maybe once or twice a week. And yeah, I believe that time as well as consistency, as well as just speaking my mind, is what it maybe attracted a lot of people to my channel. I've been very fortunate in having subscribers that are very eager to form part of the discussions and help me by sharing my content. So, I pretty much owe everything that I have to my subscribers.
Yeah, I don't think you have to be humble about it. 65,000 followers or so on YouTube is quite a big thing. It's not common, and like you say, it's taken you a while, and it takes a lot of work as well. It's not like, yeah, I'm sure editing all your videos and that takes a long time.
Yeah, I mean it does. I mean, look, live streams it's the new thing. Well, when I say new, I'm talking about the last 3 4 years, and that is, you know, original videos I still believe is king because if I look at the amount of people that get access to original videos, it's a lot more than the live streaming. But I'm enjoying the live streaming more because it's actually more interactive and it's more immediate. And it's like a even though I am, honest and real in my original videos, it's like it's just my opinion. Whereas in a live stream, you get to interact with people that could have a different perspective, that could open yourself up to saying, okay, well, I didn't consider that. So, yeah, I mean, social media is obviously, it's a great platform or a great avenue to get information out. But I mean, as I've seen over the last couple of days, it could also be absolutely toxic. And I'm not just talking about Twitter. I'm talking about, old bored people on Facebook that get a WhatsApp or get a message that is fake, especially with, the pandemic that we're facing now around the world. And then they share it out. And then as a counselor, when I wear my counselor hat, I now have to deal with it. I've had about, what, 250 calls over the last 48 hours just to talk about, what is real, what is fake. And so, yeah, I mean, social media is fantastic if you know how to use it right and you are responsible. But unfortunately, we have got people. We live in that time now where people want to stand on their soapbox and get followers, and everybody is entitled to an opinion because everybody's got a Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, or YouTube account. So that, unfortunately, it's good and bad because it gives you a lot of different opinions, but it also opens it up to a lot more fake information.
Yeah, and one of the other things I thought of was, what kind of challenges do you face on social media? Like you've mentioned a few now, but as well as, I don't know, say obviously from the political perspective, you have EFF bots that might come and, yeah, attack your Twitter feed, or YouTube demonetizing videos and that, because you mentioned something I know that's been quite prominent now with the coronavirus, with YouTube taking quite a heavy stance on that.
Yeah, so
What are some, yeah.
I would say that the least problematic profile that I'm on would probably be Facebook. And that would probably be because of the fact that I don't think that they really control or maintain. I'm sorry for my dogs barking in the background, but we are in lockdown, so people should understand that. um, Facebook is the least problematic because it's not really patrolled that much. But then again, also it's the one that I use the least at the moment. Twitter is the one where everybody is also just attacking one another, and it pretty much it's a cesspool. If you want to, punish yourself, then you go onto Twitter. But it's that that habit that that's bad for you, but you really enjoy it. So that is what Twitter is. And then, yeah, unfortunately, I've seen YouTube has become very, very liberal, but so far so that they are leaning extremely to the left when it comes to content. And they are obviously trying to protect themselves in their financial um, aspect and their revenue stream. And, one of the hardest hit accounts, I would say, is news YouTube channels, because you are competing with mainstream media like News 24 in South Africa, and they pump in money into YouTube. So I've seen a drastic decrease in how YouTube is recommending my videos. So that is why I think that I'm very lucky in the sense that when they were still quite fair to the small creator, I built up, 68,000 subscribers. And now I rely solely on those individuals sharing my content. Because if I had to create a YouTube channel now and do exactly what I'm doing now, I will not reach nearly as much people as what I would have if I started my account like I did in 2008.
One of the interesting things was, because of this coronavirus and that, and I think there was a stream, I think probably about 2 weeks ago, on, I think it was News 24. We are waiting for the president to give a speech in that, and I think you gave out a plea to some of your, on one of your live streams, and that, to go tell people on News 24 to jump onto your live stream. And
Yeah,
I couldn't believe how many people like came across and stayed.
yeah,
So that I think also talks to the realness that you speak of. People like it given straight, that they don't want bullshit kind of thing.
exactly.
Um, but yeah, that I think resulted as well. What, a few days later, you had one of your biggest super chat days. What, nearly 10,000 rand?
Yeah, I mean, that was insane. I mean, I think it was this past Monday when the president finally did address. And the irony out of all of this is on Sunday when he was supposed to do his address, I think it was about 6,500 people on my live stream. And then obviously nothing happened. And I mean, that video eventually trended on YouTube, which also blew my mind in the South African aspect. I think it's on 110,000 views now. And then the one that attracted a lot less viewers, and when I say that, I mean like I think it maxed out at about 4,000 live views. People started just donating. And yes, it ended up around about 10,200 Rand. And then also that doesn't even include the memberships that I got, because my memberships, obviously, if you become a member, you get a cap, and that's my way of saying thank you. And then you give 80 Rand a month to my channel. And that jumped up by about 25 to 30 new members as well. So I was completely blown away. I mean, it was quite emotional on that stream. The fact that people are willing to financially contribute. So and that is something that's very personal to me. Is I mean, since I started my YouTube channel, all my AdSense money always went to charity, and it still does. But after making this something more serious and putting a lot more time and effort into it, I don't feel guilty for also taking the super chats and the membership money and putting it back into the channel. So it's not like I use it and go buy myself some nice things. I actually buy stuff to make the quality of my YouTube channel better. And I remember a couple of years ago I said you can never ever make a living off of YouTube. But ever since they have started super chats and membership where your subscribers can contribute financially to you rather than you relying on YouTube for Google AdSense money, it changed the game. And I'm very open with my statistics. I've consistently made about 20 to 25,000 rand for, the last 6 months since they've enabled it. So, I mean, you can literally now make a living off of it. And you don't even need 65 or 68,000 subscribers. If you've got 1,000 or 2,000 committed subscribers to your channel, you can easily make enough in order to make it worth your while.
Yeah, I definitely think it is good to see that, and it speaks to, I think, again, to the realness of your channel and um, the content that you're putting out there, and it's, I'm sure, like you say, it's quite emotional for you as well that there's so many people that are financially telling you that they pretty much love your content, and it makes it probably more worthwhile just knowing that people enjoy it rather than the financial side of things.
Yeah, I mean, added to that, somebody subscribing means a lot because it means, hey, listen, I'm willing to listen to what you have to say. When somebody smashes the like button, that is great. That's also, it tells you that people are liking your content. But I mean, that's always been open for abuse, especially in my situation where I speak out against the EFF, the ANC, and even, the DA if they make stupid decisions, or people. Specifically, I mean, over the last month, I've had this back and forth with this one Australian YouTuber, which I won't mention his name, but he's also got a massive gang of followers. So I've always been very skeptical of the like and dislike button. But I have to say that the financial contributions that people can make is a game changer in the sense of this is somebody taking their hard earned money and giving it to you to say thank you for what you've done. And if you ever see me uh, just scuffing a 7 rand donation away, then please tell me to shut my channel down because then I've turned into an arsehole. Um, I've never done it for the money, but I won't lie that the fact that people contribute financially, it's a lot more of an emotional reward than it is actually a financial reward, if that makes any sense.
Mm, mm. Do you think psychology plays quite a pivotal role now in social media, like knowing trends and yeah, just playing on those themes? I spoke to someone a few weeks ago that's in the clothing business and that, and they did some research in that and found that for their products that they were selling, it was more male orientated products, but they found out that the mom's girlfriends and significant others were actually buying the product more than the men themselves. So they introduced like these packs where it's themed, so you get a male and female style product together. But do you think that there's that also in social media when it comes to kind of marketing yourself, your brand?
Definitely. I mean, the psychological aspect plays a massive part because I mean, we all have, that aspect that we think in emotions. And emotions boil down to how you perceive things in life. So, you know, I studied psychology. I hold a honors in psychology and a master's degree in industrial psychology. So, the subliminal messaging, the all of those things play a part. And you know, you have to balance a very fine line between talking negatively about what's going on in this country and coming across as abusive towards what's happening in the country. So it's a balance that I'm still working on. It's something that I don't always get right, because you get a lot of people that understand the negativity in this country, and the psychological impact of that. And you have to balance it. You have to say, yes, sometimes we live in a shithole where the police can't get it right, our government can't get it right. So how do we spin this also in a positive? And how I do that is in my humble opinion, there's no better person in this world than a South African when he's around a braai, you know, or when he is just having a drink with his friends. And that is across racial barriers, it's across class barriers. And I think that, I've, if you spin it in that way, I mean, just one stupid example is I really, really love Steri Stumpies. I'm not sure if you've noticed, but I love my Steri Stumpies. And it's become this massive inside joke on my channel for people just to have some fun and laugh, you know. I mean, it's so stupid that it's boiled down to what is the right way to drink a Steri Stumpy, and that makes people laugh. And so you have to hit that balance, and it boils back to the fact that if I'm just going to consistently put out negative content, then people will also tune out. Because even though it is right, and we understand that South Africa is in a very negative space, economically, socially, and all the different aspects of that, it boils down to you need to balance it. You need to talk about some of the positive things as well, like the South African spirit and how we do our things and what makes us unique. So yes, psychology definitely plays a part in the YouTube space as well.
I think you would call me a savage for the way I drink a Steri Stumpy. I like pulling the foil seal right off.
Oh wow! No, you
So
see, some of us just aren't disciplined, and unfortunately, you are one of those individuals. And if you drink the banana or the caramel or bubblegum Steri Stumpy, then also you've unfortunately got no class, my friend.
oh, that's unfortunate then. I do enjoy a bubblegum one now and then.
Unacceptable.
Um, but yeah, maybe in closing, yeah, social media can be quite heavy as well, when you talk about like the mind and your feelings as well. But uh, what do you, or how do you find balance in your life with regards to, yeah, obviously your social media presence? You also, yeah, a counselor and that, and you've got other commitments. What do you do to ensure that your mental, physical, emotional side stays intact?
So that's very important because I mean you've seen how YouTubers have completely like sort of had emotional breakdowns on their channels. And I find it quite comical, if I'm honest with you, when YouTubers, especially very successful YouTubers, when they do, that episode or that video where they cry and say, they're under so much pressure. And yes, it's a real thing. But I mean, the reason I find it comical is because people don't understand how to switch off. And I think that's something that I'm very good in because politics has taught me that, where you cannot help every single resident all the time. You have to take some time for yourself because if you don't, then you're not going to be able to be efficient in what you do. I'm very lucky though, in the sense that social media has become literally I would say it's like an extra limb, to what I have because I have to communicate to my residents via social media. So it's part of my like daily routine to know that I'm going to probably spend a lot more time on social media than your average counselor or than your average person because I do YouTube and I also use it as a platform to communicate with my residents. So for me, I've struck that balance. I've also put in some things where I make sure that I don't overdo it. So, I make sure that I make time for my wife and my two dogs, and we've committed to like either playing a board game or we watch a movie together or just spend some quality time away where I need to switch off as well. Because I was also reaching that point where, it all just becomes a blur. And I mean, a lot of people can experience that right now. I mean, how many people automatically just switch on the news to listen to the latest update of COVID-19, as an example, and eventually it's just the same stuff over and over and over, and you become so used to just doing that. And I had to switch off. I had to understand that I can't sit on Twitter the whole day and try to fight my battles with everybody. I needed to understand that there was going to be a couple of hours a day where I'll probably miss some really stupid shit that is said on Twitter or on Facebook or somebody that makes a video on me that really despises me on YouTube. And as soon as you just understand and accept that you're not going to get hold of everything, or you're not going to be the first person all the time with a breaking news video, then it's fine, because then eventually you understand that you can do only what you can do, but your mental health is critical. In order, because if your mental health is not right, then you're not going to put out content that I think people would like to see, firstly, and secondly, it's not going to be good for you, obviously.
Mm. I think that's a good way to end. Thanks for your time this morning.
Thank you so much, and I'll definitely make a plan to get you onto my channel. I think what you're doing is fantastic, and the quality of content that you put out is it's really, really up there. So I just want to thank you for what you're doing, and yeah, I mean, I'm quite amazed that your channel's doing really well. From the YouTube perspective, and unfortunately, I believe that YouTube is really doing a lot in censoring South African content creators, but also people that talk about South Africa, and talk about South Africans. So I'll definitely do my part to support fellow content creators. So let me know, and I'll assist as much as I can.
I hope you enjoyed the podcast. If you enjoy the content, please remember that you can support the podcast via Patreon, and the link is below. And all support is welcome and muchly appreciated.